This is part 2 of my series testing out metal cutting sawzall blades. In the last series, we tested brands like Spider, we tested Hercules from Harbor Freight, we tested Warrior in Milwaukee. In this episode, we're going to be testing 4 more brands. Fan favorite Diablo. A lot of people think Diablo is the best blade, so I was very interested to test it in this particular video and was surprised by the results. So we're going to test Diablo, Craftsman, Lennox, and DeWalt in this video. I've trusted Lennox for a long time. Diablo is a real fan favorite. And of course, DeWalt and Craftsman are brand names that have been around for a long time. So let's see which one of these particular brands is the best. I'll be using the apparatus I built and my Milwaukee Sawzall to perform this test. This test will be a gauntlet of sorts. We're going to cut through this square metal channel 3 times. Then with the same blade, go ahead and cut this steel angle 2 times. And then with the same blade still, we're going to cut through this unistrut 2 times. So we'll see which blade makes it through the test, how quickly they move, and how they look after the test. Let's take a look at our DeWalt Sawzall blade to see how it fared. The model number for this particular blade, which is 14 teeth per inch, is DWA-R6114. Looking closely at the DeWalt blade, you can see that most of the teeth that were in the cutting area have some sort of damage to them. Most of them significant damage when you compare them to the teeth at the very right side of the screen there. You can see what they look like. There is not many teeth on the left side that resemble those perfect teeth that are still unfazed on this blade. Toward the opposite end of the cut area, you can see that there are 2 or 3 teeth that look like they are perfectly good except for the paint missing. But besides those few teeth, most of them have received some sort of damage. So in total, the DeWalt blade had a significant amount of damage done during the test. Now let's talk about the Craftsman blade. The model number for the Craftsman blade is the 614R. Just like the DeWalt blade, the Craftsman blades in the cut area, most of them received some amount of damage. There are a few that look relatively unfazed, but for the most part, most of them are damaged to some degree. On the opposite end of the blade, there are several teeth, at least 4 or 5, that are almost worn flat. This makes the damage to the Craftsman blade more significant and severe than the DeWalt blade. Now let's move on to fan favorite Diablo. The Diablo blade is a little bit different because it has a 14/18 teeth per inch alternating pattern. The model number is DS0614BF. You can see that the Diablo blade has a different pattern of teeth. There's 2 teeth grouped together with a small gap and then another group of 2 teeth. And if you look toward the right side of this picture, you can see several teeth that look almost like they were broken off. There's a couple right on the right side, then a couple near the center of the picture. So there was significant damage to particular teeth on this blade, although it doesn't look like every single tooth took a lot of damage. The ones that did took a significant amount of damage. As we look at the opposite end of the cut area, you go to the left side of the picture, you can see those damaged teeth, the ones that look like they were almost broken off. But as you travel toward the right side, there is less damaged teeth. In fact, the right side looks significantly better than the left side. So overall, I think the Diablo fared better than the other 2 blades we've already talked about, although it did have several teeth that were damaged severely. The next blade is the Power Blast blade from Lennox. The model number for the Power Blast blade is 6114R, and it says it's rated for medium thick metal and is 14 teeth per inch. You can see that there are several damaged teeth on the Lennox blade, not as severe as some of the other blades, but you can definitely see that several of the teeth are damaged on this side. It looks like that most of the teeth that are damaged are not damaged to the same degree as the other blades, but there are damaged teeth. But there are quite a few of them, as you can see from this picture, that look relatively unscathed. So I think the Lennox did a very good job as far as durability and speed. So let's take a look at the different scores each blade got during this test. In round 1, where the blades cut through the metal channel, Craftsman ranked 4th, DeWalt 2nd, Diablo 3rd, and Lennox was number 1 by a sizable margin. In round 2, Lennox won again by another very sizable margin, followed by DeWalt, then Craftsman, and in last place, a surprise to me because I had very high expectations, was Diablo, at a significant distance behind number 3. When it came to cutting through the big unistrut, Lennox was first again, followed by Craftsman, then DeWalt, and again last place by a very sizable margin, almost a minute, Diablo. When it comes to the total time to do all 3 sets of cuts, Lennox was of course number 1 at under 2 minutes, followed by DeWalt, which was almost 3 minutes at 2:41.93, followed shortly after by Craftsman at 2:44.01, and Diablo brought up the rear in an extreme way at over 4 minutes. Even though assessing damage is very subjective, I assessed Lennox as the least damaged, Diablo in second place, DeWalt in third place, and Craftsman in fourth place. Whenever I assess the cost of a blade, I try to find packages of only that blade, and most of these were 5 packs. Craftsman comes in at the cheapest at $2.20 per blade, followed by DeWalt at $2.90 per blade, Diablo at $2.99 per blade, and the most expensive was Lennox at $3.20 per blade. When it came to the overall score, Lennox was number 1 at an average finish of 1.5. Diablo came in 4th with an average finish of 3.33. DeWalt came in 2nd at 2.33, and Craftsman came in 3rd at 2.83. The biggest surprise of this test to me was the Diablo performing so poorly. I was really surprised, to the point at which I'm going to put it out there to you guys. Is there something that you saw that was amiss during this test concerning the Diablo blade? Because I was expecting it to really tear up most of these blades. I'm not surprised about the Lennox blade being so good. I've used their stuff for years, and even at the extra cost, at over $3 a blade, it's definitely worth it just to spend a few extra cents and get the Lennox blade. Now, if you want to step it down the cost a little bit, or maybe the Lennox isn't available, the DeWalt seemed to do very, very well. And compared to the Craftsman, which is a very similar cost, the DeWalt outperformed the Craftsman. So, Lennox is the winner today. A big shocker with Diablo. Put it in the comments. What do you think happened here with Diablo? What do you think of Lennox winning? What do you think of the test in general? Stay tuned for more tool reviews and tool accessory reviews. We have some circular saw blade videos coming up. I'm going to be testing the Bauer brushless drill, so stick around for that.